Seed Duplication 2024. Hello guys, I want to present to you my new setup for seed duplication or seed replication. Two reasons for that. First, this one is easier to understand and a bit simpler to build. Second, my favorite version of the seed replication, the industrial seed duplicator from Knolls, needs to be tweaked to continue working, after one of these updates of the past year changed some of the autosweeper behavior. But before we get to that, a quick explanation on what seed duplication in oxygen not included is. A plant, when dupe harvested or forcefully wilted harvested, will drop a seed. What we do now is we split that full seed, let's call it 1.0 seed, into two smaller parts. One part being, for example, 0.05 seed and a second part being 0.95 seed. Now we take the smaller part of the seed and plant it. This is possible in the game and will give us a full seed once the plant has been harvested again, increasing our seed count to 1.95 now. That 1.95 is a full seed and the 0.95 from before. We can now either split the full seed again or the 0.95 seed from before, giving us another 0.05 seed, and so on and so forth. Technically giving us 20 0.5 seed parts from a single full seed. So much to what is seed duplication. In short, it is making many seeds out of a single seed. But we can use a different mechanic to get to the same goal. Here's the setup that Wilson from the Discord server provided. It is based on the two following mechanics. First, autosweeper that pick up material will drop that material from their center tile if you only send a short automation signal to them. They are just not very smart and will drop whatever they picked up. And second, the autosweeper will automatically try to fill a conveyor loader with small amounts of material. How it works is, if you fill this conveyor loader with 999.95 kg of material, it will try to fill up the rest with whatever is allowed in the conveyor loader, even a seed. So if we have a seed here to the right and then allow the seed in the conveyor loader, the autosweeper will not pick up the whole thing, but only 0.05 gram of that full seed and try to place it in the conveyor loader. And in the setup that you've seen before, the automation will stop the autosweeper from doing so. The 0.05 seed will be dropped, seed splitting achieved. And based on his design, I present to you my new quick and simple Seed Duplicator 2024. Now to how it works, how it is built, and here it is in action. It works for decor plants in flower pots, for crops planted in farming tiles, and for crops that grow upside down. And I also have an all-in-one version, but that one is annoying to control. At least if you want to put in multiple seeds at the same time. Otherwise it just works like a slower version of the rest of the setups. It does not work for plants that can survive being drowned. Again, quick heads up, the duplication works for every plant, even for the cooking ingredients. You also can automatically replant them, they will just not automatically harvest themselves and send the seed back, duplicating your seeds in the process. For those 3 seeds, this is just a seed splitter and planter for all the plants that cannot be harvested using this liquid method, the Saturn critter trap, waterweed and a thimbleweed. Now to how you can build it and set it up. Most importantly is the conveyor loader, and that the autosweeper can only reach the places that they should be able to reach. The conveyor loader needs to be filled with exactly 999.95 kg of material. If you can manage to get it closer to 100, that's also very good, meaning you can split the seed in even tinier parts, but this here is very much reasonable and achievable. You can achieve that by using a conveyor loader, a conveyor meter and a conveyor chute. Place them anywhere you want and preferably make the conveyor chute inaccessible to unwanted dupes. Fill the conveyor loader with a duplicant or autosweeper with a material of your choice, but nothing that loses mass. Set the conveyor meter to 500 kg. Let the first batch of material be transported to your collection area. Then set the conveyor meter to 499 kg. Press reset amount and wait. After that, set the conveyor meter to 0.95 kg. Press reset amount and wait again. Build a conveyor loader for this setup, place a conveyor rail above the output, I will place 2 so you can see it better, let a dupe fill it up with only that material, or use the auto sweeper that you need anyways to fill it up. If you use a dupe, you need to activate the allow manual use button for that. Now check the conveyor loader. It will say that we are 20 kilograms short of 999.95 kilogram, because the conveyor loader always stores 20 kilogram of whatever you put into it on the first conveyor rail tile. So we need to add another 20 kilogram to it. And here as well you need to be aware that stuff like this can happen. Only 19.1 kilogram of igneous rock instead of the desired 20. I guess that is because we used less than a kilogram in the previous batch. So let's delete this small pile of igneous rock and try again with another batch of 20. With those 20 kilograms, we should be at exactly 999.95 kilograms of igneous rock. It will say 1000 kilogram in the info tab to the right, but says 999 kilogram if you hover over it with the mouse. It is not completely full, as you can see by the red bars not being filled all the way to the right. If we would now place an auto sweeper and a seed near it, like this, and then set the conveyor loader to accept seeds, you can see that it transferred parts of that seed to the conveyor loader. Here, see it for yourself. After clicking on the conveyor loader, it shows 1000 kilogram igneous rock and 0.05 kilogram seed, while at the same time having the rest of the seed lying here to the right. 0.95 kilogram of a seed to be exact. But let's get back to this. We of course need an auto sweeper that wants to pick up the seed later on. It can be placed right here. Then we need a timer sensor that activates and deactivates the auto sweeper. It can be placed right here, and technically you could directly hook it up, but then the thing runs without any stopping, which is why we need a little bit of automation for this. We can achieve that by using a weight plate that detects if there is any split seed on it. So anything above 0, then it will stop, but because this will send a green signal if anything is above 0, we will need a NOT gate for this. I just place it right next to it. Then we hook it up with an automation wire. Let me just place this there. So the automation wire goes from the weight plate to the NOT gate, and from the timer sensor to the left. From the NOT gate it goes up. Then we want the system to check if both of these are green signals. That is why we will use an AND gate and place it like this. Now, once both of these signals are green, meaning there is no seed on this area here, and the timer sends a green signal, then we want this auto sweeper to be active. The conveyor loader does not need energy, by the way, so I'm going to suppress this symbol because it will annoy me. This is a mod, by the way, and I will suppress the auto sweeper symbol for now, so you can see this more clearly. This is how our setup looks at the moment. The settings for these components are the following. We use 0.2 and 2. Future Luma here. That is not correct. We use 2 and 0.2 in this order. For the timer sensor, we set the conveyor loader to our igneous rock or whatever you did put in. Then you want the seeds activated, but you also want the cooking ingredients activated if you want to use this setup here. You technically do not need it for this setup, but just make it a habit to activate it anyways. With this setup here, we could already be splitting seeds. So technically I could surround this like this and use it to be splitting seeds. But since it does not refill itself, we do need a few more components. But first let's build the lower part of this. We want an auto sweeper to be able to grab the seed that is in this tile, but not be able to reach this here. So this position is not good. This here would work. Or this here. I think I have it like this. Then we can check the range on the auto sweeper and technically build our farm tiles in this area. The problem is that if we only have one auto sweeper, it will try to pick up the seeds from the plants that will drop the seeds and replant them, which is why we do need a second auto sweeper that picks up the seed before this one and sends them back before this one can replant them. Meaning we need a second auto sweeper that cannot reach the seeds, which is, let's try this, why I placed this tile right here and made the area a little bit smaller. Let me quickly give these components some power cables because this is annoying me. This one does not need power. Let's give him a depth generator. So now we could place down either flower pots or farm tiles. But because the plants in farm tiles can grow up to 3 tiles, we would need this size. And the plants in flower pots are small and are mostly only 1 tile large for now. We can make this smaller. Let's grab some fancy flower pots here or the regular one and place them down. So how do we get the plants to wilt when they're in here? Easy, we use liquids. So let's just grab some, let's say, salt water, 200 kilogram is enough, and drop this in. In a normal game you can just use a bottle emptier for this and drop it in. Next up we use some polluted water, for example. Also 200 kilogram is enough, drop it in, and then some regular water. With this we do have 3 layers. At the moment it is blocked because of the polluted oxygen tile right here. You can prevent this by using some airflow tiles here to the right and to the left. But I like the look of the glass better. So now let me just suppress this. Now once the plant is dropped, how do we get the seed back up? Easy, go to shipping, grab a conveyor loader, place it down right here, so that this autosweeper cannot reach it, only this autosweeper can reach it. Give it a higher priority than the plants, set it to seeds, and set it to cooking ingredient, hook it up to power, and then connect the conveyor rail right to here. And with this we can bring back the seeds that we harvested back to this room. But technically we cannot do anything with the seeds in this room, so we do want a few seeds outside. And we do want a few seeds inside, so we are able to continue our duplication. Meaning we want to check how many seeds we have inside of here. We can do that with a weight plate again. And then we want to send the rest of the seeds outside. So we connect the conveyor rail to the outside like this, and connect an automation wire from this weight plate to the conveyor chute. Once the weight plate detects that there is, for example, more than 2 kilogram, then it should close the conveyor chute. But since this sends a green signal, if it detects exactly that, we need to set it to below 2 kilogram. So as long as there's below 2 kilogram, so 1 seed or 2 seeds, then keep this open. Otherwise, shut it. And if this conveyor chute is closed, then all the seeds will be transported here to the top left. And with this, the setup is almost complete. Let's test this with the Joya seed. Normally, a duplicant would deliver the Joya seed to this conveyor loader, or just the autosweeper puts it in when you drop it. It will get transported to our setup. Then we need to set the conveyor loader to seeds. We did. Do we still have a seed inside? We do still have a seed inside. So we need to deselect seeds and reselect seeds. Let's check the automation signal. Okay. Was it 2 and 0.2? Okay. The setup is 2 and 0.2. Now, once we've done that, we can technically grow our jumping Joya right here. But because we do manually have to put the Joya seed in here, at least the command to plant it, it would be helpful if we get notified when all of these plants actually drowned and we need to refill it. Which is why I implemented another piece of automation. Just grab the filter gate, place it right here, connect it with the automation wire, like this. Click on the filter gate and set it to 101 seconds. Then connect it to, where is it? The automated notifier. The automated notifier can now tell you plants are ready, ready, please replant. Then we can make a zoom and technically pause and a sound. And now we wait. Now if there's a seed on this for 101 seconds, it will notify us. And there's only a seed on it if this autosweeper stopped planting. And it takes around 100 seconds for the plants to actually wilt inside of the liquid. So take a look at this red bar here. Almost perfect. Last seed is getting sent up. Okay, we got a little bit too much time, but every plant is a little bit different, so 101 seconds is a safe number, and it zooms to our setup. But there's still one piece missing, and that is, how do we get the seeds out again if we want to use another seed? Because at the moment we do not have the option to do that. Which is why I just used a simple storage bin like this. And if we set the storage bin now to seed, and we change the priority of this to 1, like it should be, and autosweeper is active, we could send everything that is inside to the outside. But how can we do that if the timer sensor is only active for a short while? Technically, we could increase the time of the green duration, or we delete this tile here, get rid of the diamond, and place down a simple signal switch exactly right here, and connect it to the AND gate output. So we technically connect it directly to the auto sweeper. So if we have this active, this will constantly be running and trying to put in the seeds in this storage bin and also in this storage bin. But since this priority is higher, it will not do that. Now you have to get a duplicant, get rid of your seeds. So technically just let's drop this, delete it. That's a duplicant that picked up the stuff. Then you deactivate the switch and you can reload a new seed. For example, the aother seed, which technically needs to go in a farm tile, but is still split in this setup here. So to have it look exactly like I did up there, just use a little bit of insulation on the outside like this. Replace these tiles here and place down a door so that the duplicants can actually access this conveyor loader. And this place here can be used for decor. The insulation here is a stylistic choice and only necessary if your room is too hot or too cold, bringing us exactly this setup here. Going over to this setup, as you can see, it is exactly the same. On top, everything is the same. The priorities are the same. Yeah, thank you. I've noticed that we're finished. The priorities are the same. The only difference is that we do have a little bit more space down here. In comparison, we do need this extra space for larger plants. Every plant that is 3 tiles high, which also means that 3 different liquids stacked is enough. The next setup is this setup. Again, everything here on top is almost the same. The only difference being that the seed that we want to have duplicated can be dropped via this automatic dispenser here, because this time the duplicants do not have access to reach the conveyor loader. Let me tell you why. For the hanging plants, we do need actually 4 liquids stacked up, because the hanging plants are 3 tiles large, some of them at least. The pincher pepper plant is 3 tiles large, and we do need the auto sweeper to be placed underneath to pick up the seeds. We can plant the seeds with this auto sweeper from behind the hydroponic farm tiles. Pincher pepper, plant, copy this, place it. As you can see, the auto sweeper plants it perfectly fine, and once they are drowning and dropped, this auto sweeper will pick them up, which is why the priorities for this are also 1 and 2. And here again 1 and just a higher number. Changes in this setup are also that the second auto sweeper cannot be placed on top, because how would it be able to grab the seeds, which is why the auto sweeper is down here and the conveyor loader is also down here. It is set to seed. We do not need to set it to cooking ingredient in this case. That's it for this setup, and here's the all-in-one version. This looks a little bit more complicated, but it's the same setup up here. We just made it a little bit larger for the duplicants to get in and drop a seed or grab a seed. You can also drop a seed through this door, drop it inside this conveyor loader, and it will get sent up. This one can plant the regular flower pot plants, and it can plant the farm tiles with whatever is available. You can plant the 3 tile high plants here, the 1 tile high decor plants here, and the 2 and 3 tile high hanging plants up there. But you just don't get the same amount of seeds back, because you only have 3 and 2 tiles where you can actually plant stuff. It is also very annoying if you put in multiple seeds at the same time, so it's just if you want to save space and only occasionally dupe some of those, this is the setup for you. Otherwise, just use one of the other setups. As for the placement, you can see that the auto sweepers are placed differently. So this one cannot grab the seed, but it can grab a seed from down here and up there and place it in the conveyor loader. And this auto sweeper can grab the seeds, but cannot put anything in the conveyor loaders. The materials for this setup technically do not matter, but since I built this in a vacuum, which you should not, this can just be built in a regular atmosphere, for example, an oxygen atmosphere like this. The auto sweepers are getting hotter with the use, even though just a little, but they will increase in temperature. So this could burn down if you have it in a vacuum and run it for too long. So you can have it in your regular atmosphere, in your base, and once your base gets hot, you just cool it down like everything else. And here are a few helpful overlays. If you do not build this in steps, but build the whole thing at once, just make sure to deactivate the signal switch here. If you still have the old seed duplication setup, this is how you can fix it. Move the storage bin 1 tile to the right with all the same settings and put in the table salt from before. Then move this tile 1 tile down. With this simple change, the seed is split correctly and the smaller part can now be picked up by a new auto sweeper in the correct position down here. Of course, you will need to switch some things up, like add another auto sweeper that can pick up the seed and a conveyor loader to send it up again. But with what we've learned today, you should be able to do so. Love you guys, Luma out, and make sure to subscribe if you don't want to miss another episode.